Amateur Radio Newsline.
At 8:01 tonight, W8VP. net tonight at 8:30 W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater PL110.9. W8VPV. Repeater. W8VPV. Repeater. Net.
Good evening, and welcome to the Call the Falls Amateur Radio Club's Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. My name is Russ, and my call is KDA-BYT. But for this presentation of Newsline, I will be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2403 with a release date of Friday, November 17th, 2023, to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST, a plan to grow commercial use of the radio spectrum in the U.S. The FCC removes outdated restrictions on the digital mode, and a YL in India has a ham radio movie star moment. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2403 comes your way right now. From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now reporting from Charleston, West Virginia, here's Jim Damron, NATMW. We begin this week with word of an official plan to expand commercial use of the radio spectrum. A U.S. agency is taking on an ambitious study of how to accomplish it. Cell MB KB3-TZD brings us up to date.
The National Telecommunications and Information Administration, the U.S. agency that advises the President on spectrum use, has released a report focusing on the possible repurposing of 5 bands for commercial use. The lower 3 GHz band, along with parts of the 5 GHz band, 7 GHz band, 18 GHz band, and the 37 GHz band, according to several published accounts. In all, 2,786 megahertz of spectrum were identified by the agency at the time when the nation's wireless industry is pressing for the same kind of expanded spectrum access available to commercial interests in other countries. Commercial uses include satellite operations, navigation, wireless broadband, internet-connected vehicles, and drone management. The NTIA expects to conduct a study to identify the bands further and to develop a strategy within 18 months for the FCC's allocation of users on the bands. According to Reuters, most of the frequencies being studied are reserved for various parts of the U.S. government. I'm Cell MB, KB3-TZD.
Meanwhile, in an action that was long awaited by many, the FCC has removed what many considered to be outdated restrictions on digital transmission. The agency announced on Wednesday, November 13th, that it was establishing a 2.8 kilohertz bandwidth limitation on amateur radio HF radio bands to replace the baud rate limitation. The move was much sought after, particularly by amateurs involved in emergency communication. It will also encourage experimentation, a core principle of ham radio. The FCC is still seeking comment on the proposed removal of limitations on the baud rate or symbol rate in the VHF and UHF bands, as well as in the 2200 meter and 630 meter bands, and would like input on what the appropriate bandwidth limitation might be. In other action, the FCC has extended the window to receive comments on its proposed changes to the 60 meter band. The new deadline is November 28th. The FCC would like to make changes to the band that would allocate 15 kilohertz of contiguous bandwidth between 5351.5 and 5366.5 kilohertz for amateur radio on a secondary basis. The proposed new band would have a limit of 15 watts EIRP. U.S. General, Advanced, and Extra hams presently have 5 channels available to them between 5332 and 5405 kilohertz, also on a secondary basis. They're permitted an effective radiated power limit of 100 watts PEP. When more than 70% of your ham radio club's members are either military veterans or on active duty, the U.S. holiday known as Veterans Day is no small matter. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, introduces us to just such a club.
Fayetteville, North Carolina marked Veterans Day a few days early on November 4th with its annual parade, but not all of the public attention was focused on those representing the U.S. military in the annual march. The Cape Fear Amateur Radio Society was on active duty at the parade, too. In When the hams called QRZ, people took notice. Hector Gonzalez, KB4LOA, the Society Vice President, said visitors had lots of questions as they heard the hams QSOs with others who, like them, were veterans of the armed forces or still in active service. Almost 3/4 of the North Carolina Club's members have connections to the U.S. military. Hector told Newsline that the annual event in Fayetteville was designed to honor those who served, but the presence of the hams sparked extra interest for those who were looking to get involved in radio. Hector said the hams were especially grateful for the organizing efforts of Don Talbot, WO4 SFA, a retired chief warrant officer from the Special Forces. Hector said the day's activation showed everyone that hams who were also veterans still remain in the country's service. He said, quote, "This holds a special meaning to all of us as an organization because not only did most of us serve the grateful nation, but in one way or another, we continue to do so by way of serving our community by rehearsing emergency communications every time we get on the air." End quote. This is Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
The newest NASA satellite in orbit, some 200 miles above the Earth, isn't one you can contact by radio. In fact, it's not an official satellite at all, but a bag of tools missing from the International Space Station. Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, tells us how it got lost in space.
NASA astronauts Jasmine Mockbelly, KI-5WSL, and Laurel O'Hara, KI-5TOM, were conducting a spacewalk on November 1st. They were tending to a solar alpha rotary joint that helps the ISS track the sun, and they were conducting maintenance work on a communications antenna. That's when it happened. The suitcase-sized tool bag they were using slipped free of Mockbelly's grasp and went off onto a space mission of its own. According to various media accounts, the bag, which has an exterior that reflects the sun, is now hurtling along at a few thousand miles an hour on a journey that is expected to end when, just as with another toolbox lost in 2009, it enters the Earth's atmosphere and burns up. So no, you can't make radio contact with this particular rogue satellite, but a number of people, including Japanese astronaut Satoshi Furukawa, have been able to see it. And at one point, it was directly over Mount Fuji. It is apparently not difficult to find if you have a telescope or high-power binoculars. If you see this free-floating toolbox and capture its image, the website Earth Sky is hoping you will share it with them. All images can be uploaded using the link that appears in this week's text version of the newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
For many of us, if we aren't on the air, we're either talking about it or reading about it. Hams in Australia are celebrating a magazine that has helped them do all three for 90 years. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, has details.
Amateur Radio Magazine, the journal of the Wireless Institute of Australia, has had real staying power. In fact, it's marking its 90th year in 2023. But the special call sign honouring the magazine won't be around for too much longer. You have only until the 31st of December to contact special event station VK90AR, which is being operated on a roster basis by hams here in Australia. You never know who you're going to work when you answer the call from VK90AR. One of the operators is Sergio, VK3SO, who designs and lays out each 68-page issue. The magazine has come a long way from its earliest 24-page issue, conceived of by the WIAZ president, George Thompson, VK3TH. It cost sixpence, the price of 2 ice cream cones in 1933, and that is a fraction of the US dollar. Hams who make a successful contact can count on getting something else to read, courtesy of Amateur Radio Magazine, a commemorative QSL card from Down Under. And from Down Under, I'm Graham, VK4BB.
The ARRL announces the first Worked All States winner on the 33-centimeter band. Here's Patrick Clark, K8TAC, to tell us about it.
Congratulations to Al Ward, W5LUA, who is the recipient of the ARRL's first Worked All States certificate for the 33-centimeter band. The FCC opened the frequencies between 902 MHz and 928 MHz to amateurs in 1985, and Al immediately began working toward the award. According to the ARRL website, Al completed his 38-year challenge on the 21st of October with a QSO with Peter Van Horn, KA6U, in Wisconsin, in an Earth-Moon Earth contact. The FCC has permitted secondary use of the band to amateurs on the condition that they accept interference from such primary users
by your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the WM3PEN repeater in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. local time. The story of an influential YL, happy among her family of hams and inspiring others around the world, would make a great subject for a feature film. And now it has. John Williams, DK4JJW, tells us about her and the new documentary.
Even if she doesn't feel like a movie star, Bharati Devapulavi is generating a lot of excitement on the film screen in a new one-hour documentary, My Radio, My Life, that premiered Friday the 10th of November at the Africa International Film Festival. The team of filmmakers from Pune, India, takes a sweeping yet very personal view of the medium in all its varied forms, from shortwave enthusiast to commercial broadcaster to amateur radio operator, focusing on a handful of its most ardent practitioners. As someone who's been a radio amateur for more than half of her life, Bharati, B-U-2-R-B-I, plays a central role in the film, giving the camera crew access to her shack in Hyderabad earlier this year and introducing the many members of her very large ham radio family, including her husband, VU2DBP, her daughter, VU2DTR, and her son, VU3DVS. The veteran de-expeditioner, who's assisted widely in disaster management communications and received many awards worldwide, is an advocate and educator for amateur radio education, particularly for YLs. The documentary, which is expected to arrive in India sometime in 2024, is scheduled to appear at other festivals around the world, where it'll be among many films vying for awards. For Bharati, the title couldn't be more perfect. My Radio, My Life is her story. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
A short trailer for the documentary can be seen on Vimeo at the link in the text version of this week's newscast. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area or plan to visit, you can see the film on December 1st through the 3rd at the 12th Annual D.C. South Asian Film Festival. Fans of keeping Universal Coordinated Time, or UTC, intact, take note. The International Telecommunications Union is discussing one prominent timekeeper's proposal for global standard setters to institute something called the Leap Minute, and whether it should be introduced in light of the recent decision to eliminate the Leap Second. Jeremy Booth, G4NJH, explains.
The ITU's World Radio Communications Conference opens on November the 20th in Dubai with an ambitious agenda that includes discussion of a U.S. timekeeper's proposal to address the planned elimination of leap seconds starting in 2035. Leap seconds were originally implemented to synchronize the Earth's irregular rotation with the ultra-precise method of atomic timekeeping. It is this form of timekeeping that is reflected in UTC, the very time standard that radio amateurs, scientists, and many others depend upon worldwide. The leap second was marked for elimination in a vote last year by the International Bureau of Weights and Measures to address its complex impact on technology and other fields. An alternate timekeeping method to be discussed in Dubai suggests that leap minute be used instead every 50 years or so as needed to align clocks more closely with the variable movement of the Earth. The alternative form of time adjustment is a concept from Judah Levine on the National Institute of Standards and Technology in the United States. It is unclear what kind of reception this new controversial remedy may ultimately receive from the International Bureau of Weights and Measures itself. We will know, of course, in due time. This is Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
In the world of DX, be listening for data BU2DSI, operating again this year with a special event call sign AU2JCB to pay homage to the noted Indian scientist Jagadish Chandra Bose, a pioneer in wireless communications. He'll be on the air from the 23rd of November through the 11th of December. operating on 10, 15, 20, 40, and 80 meters on single sideband, and on 6 and 10 meters in the FM mode. This year, he'll be joined by VU2EVU and VU2XPN, who will be calling QRZ with the call signs AU3JCB and AU5JCB, respectively. See QRZ.com for QSL details. On the Chatham Islands, CL7A will be on the air until the 22nd of November. Listen for them on 160 through 6 meters, where they will be using SSB, CW, FT8, and FT4 with 3 stations. QSL via Logbook of the World. Listen for Kazoo, M0CFW/JK3GAD, operating from Rodriguez Island as 3B9KW during the CQ Worldwide CW contest taking place November 25th and 26th. You may also hear him before and after the contest starting November 19th as 3B9/M0CFW. QSL via Logbook of the World. Almost everyone can tell a story about a favorite or memorable QSL card they have hanging in their shack. But what if it's an 87-year-old card that holds a piece of your personal ham radio history? Paul Brown, WD9GCO, tells us about that card.
On November 1st, Eric Peterson, N1IBC, received a birthday card from his uncle, who had wrapped another kind of card inside before sealing the envelope. It was a QSL card that had, in bright red printing, W1JUE, the call sign that was held by Eric's late great-uncle Gene. Gene, who lived in Rhode Island, had mailed the card in 1936 to a ham in New Jersey as confirmation of a CW contact on May 31st of that year. Now, Eric first saw the card earlier this year while browsing eBay, and he casually mentioned his surprising discovery in a post to some family members on Facebook. The second time he saw the card, it was in his hands. Eric hadn't thought to buy the card off of eBay for himself when he saw it, but his Uncle David, realizing that this was a piece of family history, did. The card is a tangible reminder of how this much older relative helped fire up the imagination of a young boy who had become enchanted by electronics at an early age. Gene, who eventually helped him prepare for the novice license, died in his 70s just as Eric was entering his teens. Some time ago, after reviving his license, which had lapsed over the years, Eric applied successfully to the FCC to get a vanity call sign. He asked for N1IBC. It's the novice call sign he received so long ago thanks to W1JUE, the silent key whose QSL card now hangs framed in his home. This is Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
If you have a piece of amateur radio news you think Newsline would be interested in, send it on. We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or field day participation, but something out of the ordinary. If so, send us a brief overview by way of the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. Meanwhile, if you're feeling a little bit poetic, visit our website to learn more about the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. Use the entry form on our website and please follow the rules for writing your 3-line haiku. And be sure to check out our previous winners. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, ARRL, Ars Technica, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, EarthSky.org, EHAM, Eric Peterson, N1IBC, FCC, 425DX News, Hector Gonzalez, KD4LOA, Indianapolis Star, NTIA, QRZ.com, ShortwaveRadio.de, The Statesman, Times of India, Wireless Institute of Australia, YouTube, and you, our listeners, that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, visit our website at arnewsline.org. And know we appreciate you all. We also remind you that if you like our newscast, leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen E. Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York and our news team worldwide, I'm Jim Dameron, NATMW in Charleston, West Virginia, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Net to start in about 9 minutes.
W8VPV repeater.
Good evening. Calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night VHF UHF net. My name is Thomas, and my call sign is Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. However, for the purpose of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open and directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of immature-related ideas and information to enhance net operating practices and at times of social isolation to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m., preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with announcements and then ask for check-ins from any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest to the club. Once that's completed, I'll take check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, allowing me time to confirm each call before moving on to the next. Then we'll work through those 5 check-ins and ask for 5 more until we're done. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and your location. When all check-ins have been worked, we'll close the net after repeating the announcements. We also operate an HF plus 6 meter band exploration net starting at 9:30 after this net. Approximate frequencies are on our webpage. Tonight we'll be on 40 meters at approximately 7 Mark 187 megahertz. Please join if you have the privileges. Final frequency will be announced much closer to 9:30. And really quickly on the announcements, you should all have gotten these in the email today, so we'll go through them very quickly. This coming Wednesday, the 22nd, is a program. We're going to, I believe, finish Empire of the Air, The Men Who Made Radio, and that's in person and on Zoom. So please join us for that this Wednesday at 7:30. Our final Wednesday meeting is going to be our holiday party. That's December 6th at 7:30. It will be at New Era Cafe in Akron, and our program will be by Dr. Max Grubb, who's a professor at Youngstown State University, about the history of broadcast radio with the focus on the Akron area. Lastly, for Vince, newsletter articles, they must be in by the 30th. That means you have 10 days to get it in for the December chattering relay. With that, we'll ask for check-ins with information for the net. Please call now.
Good evening, Thomas. W8EZT here.
Got you, Frank. Go ahead.
Alrighty. There is a sign-up. We're requesting a sign-up on the club webpage, and if you mentioned this, I missed it. I apologize. I walked in partway through your announcement, Thomas, but there is a sign-up. If you're planning on attending the Christmas dinner, please go to the club website. I think it's right at the top of the front page, and sign up. We just need your name and call so we know how we can tell them roughly how many people will be there, and we can get enough service to take care of it. Also, at this coming Wednesday's meeting, we will have coffee again along with cider and some snacks, probably donuts again. So hope to see you there, and that, of course, other than the Christmas dinner, is the last meeting this year. Next year, we are going to be doing a lot on antennas early in the year, so please stay tuned if you want to learn about antennas. If you want to do some antenna build projects, you'll want to attend our meetings starting next spring, or next January. All right, that's all I've got, Thomas. Back to you. W8EZT here. Please check me in.
Got you on the log, Frank. Do we have any other announcements? Please call now. Hearing none, let's move on to regular check-ins. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for 5 check-ins. Please call now.
Alpha Charlie 8 X-Ray Oscar.
AC8XO, got you. Next, please.
November 8 November Hotel, Mark and Akron, in and out.
November 8 November Hotel, got you in and out. Next, please.
November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa N8 ACP, Cadillac Hill, Akron.
I got you, Chris. 2 more, please.
WO3X, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
All right, got you, John, and 1 more.
8 for you.
Got you, Larry. All right, Vince, AC8XL, you're up.
Well, good evening, Thomas, and thank you for announcing about the newsletter. Other than that, I don't really have a whole heck of a lot. Been doing a lot with getting leaves off the ground and antennas back up in the air. Other than that, that's it. AC8XO back to net.
Thanks for stopping by, Vince. Yeah, we tackled leaves 2 weekends ago, and I think that'll be it for the year. But there were a lot of them. All right, N8NH, N8NH was in and out. Chris, you're up. N8ACP.
Thank you, Thomas. Fine business done around the net. Haven't had a lot of time to play radio lately because I've moved to QTH, although we do have antennas up. I'm on an HD right now. You caught me off guard. And on 12 meters, I think I worked at Timor-Leste expedition this evening. I was on very briefly. I could hear Taiwan better on 15 meters, but that was, well, let's just say that's just a mess of a pile-up. So just waiting on them to confirm. It was a pretty good stretch. If anybody needs Timor-Leste, they've got what sounds like a good sea expedition with very good ears. Back to net control, 73 to all from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa 73.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Chris. Good to hear you. Good to hear you got the move happened and you're working on getting everything up. So hopefully we'll hear you again soon. John, WO3X, you're up.
Good evening, Thomas, and all on the net. This is WO3X. Well, over the weekend I participated in the ARRL sweepstakes contest phone version, and I contacted 70 of the 85 sections. They renamed some of the Canada sections, so that may have reduced the number of Canada sections. I'm not sure, but there's 85 total sections now. Let's see here. Yeah, but there was a problem with N1MM, and I didn't notice it. I was on 20 meters making contacts, and I looked over at the log, and I noticed that about 20 of the contacts on 20 meters all had the same frequency. So N1MM was not tracking the radio. It did have the correct exchanges and times, but so I fixed that, fortunately, before I changed bands, and so we'll see if that causes a problem with the scoring when the officials are looking at the logs. What it did when I went to create the Cabrillo file was it had all those as PH14000, but the other 20 meter contacts that had the actual frequency. So we'll see how that goes. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
Thanks for stopping by, John. Larry, you're up. K8PU.
Hey, Thomas, everybody on the net. Well, nothing exciting. I did want to hope that everybody has a great Thanksgiving. You get together with the families, and weather's going to be pretty good, so no storms or anything. Everybody should be able to get around and have a nice holiday. I hope they are. and look forward to seeing everybody Wednesday evening. So back to you, Thomas. Thanks for doing the net also. W8VPV, K8PU.
Well, that's weird. That's the second time I noticed that today. I don't know if you heard that, Frank, but I think the courtesy tone keeps flicking off. Anyways, that's the bottom of those 5. This is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor. We're looking for 5 more check-ins. Please call now.
KE8 ULA, name's Lee, Jim in Stowe.
All right, got you, Jim. Next, please.
November 8, Bravo Alpha Yankee, Ralph in Stowe, in and out.
All right, got you, N8BAY. Next, please.
KE8 KVI. In and out, boring day, nothing to report.
All right, thanks for stopping by. Next, please.
HMS here.
All right, K8 HMS, got you. Do we have one more out there? All right, we'll go with what we got. KE8 ULA, Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Good evening, everyone on the net. I don't have any real traffic. Got the last of the leaves today out of the lawn. Just wanted to check in, say hello to everyone on the net. Wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. KE8 ULA.
Well, thanks for stopping by and spending some time here. All right, we had a couple in and outs, and that brings us down to Steve, K8 HMS. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. Okay. Just quick, how you copy me tonight? I'm on the 440 side.
Yeah, there's a little bit of hash, but you're coming through pretty clear.
Oh, okay. Yep, no, that's good enough. Yeah, just saying good evening to everybody. Thanks for running the net. Not much going on down here. Wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up this week, and yeah, guess that's about it. And just one, hit me up where the 9:30 net's going to be. So back to you, WAVPV, KHMS.
Well, thanks for stopping by, and we'll be on 40 meters. We'll find a spot closer, so we're find an open gap and it doesn't get filled in with some contest or something. But thanks for stopping by, and this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor, looking for additional check-ins. Please call now.
WA3JAT.
All right, got you. Next, please.
A8ALQ.
A8AOQ, got you. Next, please.
The call is November 8, Alpha Lima, Quebec.
Corrected, got it. N8ALQ, gotcha. Next, please. We'll go back to these two. WA3JAT, you're up.
Very good. Good evening. WA3JAT here. I'm sorry I got here late. I assume you covered it in the announcements, but I did want to mention the holiday dinner we have coming up on December 6th. Anthony sent out a blast email to all the members yesterday. Please, there is a link there in that email to sign up for the Christmas dinner. And the only reason we need people to sign up is so that we can let the restaurant know approximate number of people that will be attending, so that they have a number of staff and waitresses and stuff to take care of us. Other than that, not a lot going on here, and hope I see a lot of you at the holiday dinner. W8VPV, WA3JAT.
All right, thanks for stopping by, and yep, good point. Make sure you sign up for the holiday dinner. N8ALQ, you're up.
Well, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good beginning of the week. Mine is doing fine. It's been quite a while since I've been on the repeater, but we're doing pretty good, hanging in there. Going to be celebrating our birthday at Thanksgiving Day at my daughter's house. So say 73s, everybody have a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully I'll catch you down on the head page. This is N8ALQ.
Well, thanks for stopping by. Glad to hear you out there. I think we're probably down to one at a time. So next, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for any additional check-ins. Please call now.
Kilo, Echo, 8, Uniform, India, Bravo, KE8, UIB, John and Maslin.
All right, KE8, UIB, coming in pretty good for Maslin. Go ahead.
W8BTV from KE8, UIB. Good evening, everybody out there on the net. Just want to chime in, say hello to everybody on this beautiful Monday evening, and hope everybody's doing good and starting off good. Just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. With that, this is KE8 UIB. Back to net control. 7-3, y'all.
Thanks for stopping by. Do we have any other check-ins? Please call now. Well, it might be a short night tonight, so we will jump back through the announcements real quick. This Wednesday is our activity meeting. Well, it is an activity meeting at 7:30 at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ. Please join us for that at 7:30. Then our holiday dinner is Wednesday, December 6th at 7:30 at the New Era Cafe. Please RSVP to that so that they can have proper staffing. And finally, our newsletter must have articles in by the 30th. So if you're writing something, you got 10 days to do that. With those quick, brief announcements, do we have any additional check-ins? Please call now. Oh, hearing none. I think we got a short Monday. That's okay. All right, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, and we're going to prepare to close the net. I'd like to thank all that took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, we wouldn't have a net. This has been Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. It's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, we'll close the net with 13 check-ins and return the repeater to normal and customary amateur use. This has been Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 8:49 p.m. local time, 73. And we'll find a 40-meter frequency shortly and announce it here on the repeater. K8OWX clear.
Business running the net, Thomas. WO3X, you're on frequency November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Roger, John, I was wondering about the problem you were having with N1MM during the sweepstakes contest.
Do you usually keep the band map up, the band map window up, over?
I have the window open that has it has like I forget what the words are, but it has a little bar that has the bands, and whatever band I'm on, it will show like with a dot or something like that.
Right, so that's the logging window, and what you want to do is have the band map window open. If you go under, I don't know if you have this open right now, but if you go under Window and then click on Band Map, if the radio is not following the frequency that you're putting into N1MM, it'll give a big red bar on the top of that band map window saying something like, I'm working from memory here, reconnect to radio or something like that. So that's probably what happened. It happens from time to time when I'm running. Like if you bump the connection from the radio to the computer, I'm not sure how you're connecting, but you hit that, you click on that red bar, and it will reconnect the radio to N1MM, and then it will accurately follow the frequency. I'm just going to guess that's what happened, over.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have that open. I'll look for that, and yeah, I'll take a look at that this evening. And yeah, I'm not sure what caused it to not track. Let's see, what did I do? I clicked on something on that whatever you call it, that little page, and let's see, what did I do? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I did, but I made it reconnect to the radio, and then it didn't do that the rest of the day. So I don't know what caused that. I'm not sure what the authorities will think of that. You know, I've seen that in the Cabrillo file where those one of the other contests, when you log it doesn't even show the frequency. It just shows the band. You know, it'll show like 3500 or whatever. You know, and I think that's standard for that. But this one here will have mixed entries, you know, where there's about 20 in a row that just say 14000. I think it said PH 14000.
Yeah, so if you're accessing that through just the logging window, which is, you know, it'll say, like right now mine says 147.87 because that's where I'm transmitting, and it'll give the radio, you know, ICOM 706 Mark 2G VFOA, and then there's down the left-hand side it'll say PH, and then it has all the bands from 20 through 160, and if I just click on that, it's just going to, like, let's say I clicked on 20 meters. I can't do it right now because it'll change the frequency in the radio. You won't be able to hear me, but it'll just say 147.200, or that's not right, 14.200 for 20 meters, I think, or maybe even 140.000. It just depends on how it works. Some contests do it that way. They don't care what frequency you're on. They just want to know what band you worked. But I don't think that sweepstakes is like that. I only worked a few stations, so I'm certainly not an authority on this, but I think that's what happened. Somehow your computer got disconnected from the radio, and so N1MM wasn't following where you're going. But if you have the band map up, and as I always do, and I think maybe even the multiply, there's another, available mults and cues. Either one of those windows should show you when the radio disconnects from the computer, or vice versa. Actually, it'll show you that red band immediately. So if I ever see that during a contest, I immediately, single click on that red button, or it's a band really, and then the radio will reconnect, and then it won't do it again, which is exactly what you found. So, I think that's what happened. Just kind of give you my experience with the program. It's a very, very powerful program.
Repeater, timeout. U, time, repeater, out.
Yeah, Chris. It got all you. You just said it's a very powerful program, and then you stopped, and that's when it timed out. But that bar, is it red and it's vertical and has band numbers in it?
Negative, and I did time it out. The only thing you didn't hear was over John, so you got everything I said. No, if you open the band map, and there's two ways to do this. You can click on the window button and then click on the band map item, which is the second one down on the list, or you can use a keyboard shortcut. You can hit alternate November Bravo, alternate NB in succession, not all at one time, but in succession. And it will bring up that band map window, and the big red button is horizontal, and it's directly across the top of that window. You cannot miss it.
Okay, I'll look for that, and thanks for that. Yeah, it wasn't disconnected. It just does that. It just did that on its own. I don't know why. It's a, let's see, it's a, let's see, is it specific? Wait a minute, let me look at this thing. Okay, it just looks like it's a USB A and B cable, and it's not one of those dongles or something that has like a chip in it, and so what I did was I went to the page where the ports are, and just clicked on connect, and it reconnected. So I don't know why it stopped.
Right, yeah, so I'm using the same type of cable. It's USB to CIV on this ICOM 706 Mark IIG. And if you bump that thing any little bit on the computer, it will disconnect. And I mean, it would be much harder to bump it on the back of the radio where the CIV comes in. But if you do that as well, if you mess with the cable whatsoever, it'll probably disconnect. So if you have that band map window up, then it will immediately show you that, because the band map window, it shows the whole band. Like, so right now I see, if I scroll out on the band map window, I'm going to do this right now just to make sure I'm telling the truth. It shows all of 2 meters right now, and it shows where we're at. And if you see a spot on there in the DX cluster, you can just double click on that, and it'll automatically set your radio to that frequency in the correct mode, and enter their call sign in the logging window, and usually, I'm not sure of this, but usually the correct exchange, which is extremely onerous in the sweepstakes contest. That's why I don't work it. But anyways, at the top of that, right where the up and down buttons are, you should pull this window up, right where the up and down buttons are, if you're not connected to your radio, and the radio's not following a logging program, you're going to see a big red horizontal bar with a timer on it that will say, please, reconnect your radio or something like that, and it'll start counting down from 20. And if you see that, you just hit that button and away you go.
The laptop that it's on, that N1MM is on, is upstairs. I'm in the basement here with the radios, and so that's why I can't look at it right now. But thanks for that advice. That will really help. So and there's plenty of room on the screen. It's a Dell Vostro 1710, so it has a plenty big screen, so there's plenty of room to have that band map open. So I'll do that from now on. Thanks.
Roger, John. Yeah, it's a really skinny window. It's tall and vertical, and it's really, so I usually have 4 windows open when I'm running a contest. I'll have the band map open. Well, obviously, first of all, I'll have the logging window open. That's the most important one. Then I'll have the band map window open. Then I'll have the telnet window open, which is actually found under, I think it's Tools. Yeah, if you click on Tools and then telnet window tools, that'll bring the DX cluster up, and you can sign into whatever one you want. I usually use Victor Echo 7 Charlie .net.23 if I'm working assisted, and then I'll have my logging, the log window up, which you can hit. You can access that by hitting Control L twice, so twice quickly in succession, and that shows me what N1MM is recording. So if there is a snafu like that, where it's just saying, 14,000 or some 14,200 or whatever it's saying, like, I know it's not right with the frequency that I'm working them on, then I'll look at the band map window, and you can just click over there, and then if that big red button, that horizontal button is there, then you just click on that, and it'll cause the radio to reconnect. But I really strive to keep my hands away, because it's on the left-hand side of the laptop, and I try and keep my hands away from any cables that are connecting to the laptop, because it will cause them to disconnect. So hopefully that's of some help to you, John. I did hear what you said, and hopefully that helps. W03X and 8ACP.
Yeah, that may be what happened, because I also have it on the left side of the laptop, and the laptop is on the far right side of the table, so there's room beside the left side of the laptop, and I had a map book out. Let's see what this thing is. It's one of these. Wait, let me. I have it under the microphone here. Oh yeah, it's the Radio Amateurs World Atlas, and so I had it open to the North America, and so you have the whole thing open. Canada is on, like if you have it oriented, and then if you have this booklet oriented like normal, Canada is toward the left, and the United States is surrounding the center and toward the right. But to look at it so that the text is correct, it's you actually have the thing up and down, where the left page is up and the right page is down, and I had that right beside the laptop, so in moving that stuff around, I may have jiggled that.
I think that's what happened. And I know you're familiar with the N1MM. What do they call that? It's not like a, well, it is a forum, really. And they've got all kinds of helpful advice there. And that's where I found out about several of these shortcuts as I was starting to ask questions. So I think that's probably what happened. And so I always kind of keep an eye on that. And, you know, there's a spectrum display available with N1MM. My radio really won't do it, but yours might. I'm not sure which radio you're using. But if you go under Window, come almost all the way down to the bottom, you can bring up the spectrum display, and that might do the same thing. I don't know. But I think that's what happened. Whenever mine does that, I bump the cable.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, very good. I have an IC7600, so it has the spectrum map there on the along the bottom.
Roger. Man, that would be nice to have. I don't have that one, but well, I think that's what happened. So I think we're fairly down to the bottom of it. But play around when you get back upstairs, whenever. Play around with having those 4 windows up, and the guys on that N1MM, including the guy that wrote the program originally, and he's got several people helping him. They always recommend having up the available mults and queues window as well. So I'm going to try that in the next contest that I work, and I don't know when that's going to be. But so that would be 5 windows, which I'm just working on maybe 15 by 17 laptop screen, and I could look at those very easily, all 5 of them. But I usually run 4. All right, John. Well, hey. Good to hear you tonight, and sorry to hear that happened, but I guess maybe now you might know a little bit more why, or at least have a little bit more reason to chase certain things down. So, yeah, I always try and keep my hands off that left side as much as I can for that reason. We'll let Thomas figure out where we're going to be on 40 meters, and hopefully I'll join you guys. WO3X, November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa, over.
Okay, Chris, very good. Thanks for mentioning that, and I'll take a look at that. In fact, I'll go do that before the 40-meter net here, so maybe I'll hear you on there. And so with that, NHACP, this is WO3X. I'll be clear. 7-3.
23, John. Good to hear you as always. November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa, clear.
W8VPV, repeater.
Yeah. Got the 5 to 4. Thank you very much. KJ5AM, one good one. Back to net.
That on the monitor?
It says not.
Please stick around and or come back at around 8 o'clock and we'll try to get you in, Pam, okay? When we finish up there, go ahead.
Okay, we have N1YV on the frequency. And then, I haven't been able to put down a call sign yet. It's kind of strange. Station there in Virginia. Why don't you come on back in here? Let's see if we can get a three-way going. This is K8DX. Hello, Quebec for what? Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Let me get you in the call book here. EQ4GIR. Okay, and then we have N1YV. You want to make a transmission and see if Virginia can copy you? Go ahead. Oh, okay. Actually, he was the guy calling CQ, and that's why when you called in, you probably heard him calling CQ. But anyway, let's see what we can make out of this thing here. Like I said, name is Bill, and I'm in Sebring, Florida. Looks like your name is Eli. Correct me if I'm wrong. KQ4GIR K8DXX. Okay, why don't you continue? Tell me a little bit about yourself. No, the station in Virginia can't copy you, and I'm kind of confused because I thought that you were going to sit on the side here. KQ4G. Yeah, I was just giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself. I'm Bill in Sebring, Florida. Go ahead. Yeah, that's really good. That's good. And yeah, sorry you're not hearing the one station. I'm copying him actually rather well. But he thought that I'd called CQ, and I had to say no, that you had called CQ. And well, congratulations on your technician in February, and I think you said you're extra in August or something like that. Well, so you're a fairly newcomer to ham radio. It's a great hobby. I've been doing it since I was 13 and a half, and I'm now 72. So anyway, equipment here I'm running on this side is a Flex 6600, driving a KPA 1500 legal limit amplifier. The antenna is a Mosley Pro 67 beam at about 80 feet. So a KQ4 GIR K8DXX. Yeah, I sure did, and I was never a real fan of Morse code. I mean, I recognized its utility and things like that, but I did the 5 words for the novice license, which I think they still issue those, in 64. Then had to do the 13 for my general in 65. And unfortunately, the novice license was 1 year non-renewable. So, and my novice license was stuck in the mail. And you had to have physical possession of the license. So anyway, I couldn't operate until I had possession. License was issued in February, and I didn't receive it till the end of October. And so I was off the air quite a bit of time, just listening to W1AW code practice to get up to speed, so I could pass the general. And then I got my advanced in 69 and didn't get the extra until 2010 or something like that. So what's your running up there, Eli? Go ahead.
KE8OWX, just double checking this frequency is in use. Is this frequency in use? KE8OWX. KE8OWX. Start the net in 3 minutes. This is KE8OWX. KE8OWX, radio check, KE8OWX.
evening, calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday night HF plus 6 meter band exploration net. My name is Thomas. My call sign is Kilo Echo 8 Oscar Whiskey X-Ray. However, for the purpose of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open and directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since the emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and at times of social isolation, to keep members up to date about club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 9:30 p.m. local time, preceded by our VHF-UHF net on the repeaters. I'll blaze through the announcements real quick, and then we'll see if we have any additional announcements from club members or officers of the club. After that, we'll go through check-ins, call signs only, 5 at a time, giving me time to confirm each one before we move on to the next. We work through all 5 and then do it again for 5 more till we're done. If you're a regular participant, I'll probably recognize you by call sign. If not, please give your call and repeat it phonetically. When all those have been worked, we'll close the net after repeating the announcement. Very quickly, our announcements are this Wednesday is part 2 of Empire on the Air, the Men Who Made Radio. That is at 7:30 at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ. And then our last meeting of the year is our holiday party, and that is Wednesday, December 6th at 7:30. It's got a program by Dr. Max Grubb on the history of broadcast with a focus in the Akron area. That does require RSVPs, so we can have enough staff there to handle our group, and that is at the New Era Cafe at 10 Massillon Road, Akron, Ohio. Lastly, our final announcement is newsletter articles. If you're working on one, you've got 10 days to get it in, no later than November 30th to be in for the December newsletter. With that, we'll see if there are any other announcements. Please call now. Hearing no announcements, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for check-ins. Please call now.
November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
I got K8 HMS and N8 ACP. Do we have any other check-ins?
K8PU.
All right, we got Larry, K8PU.
WO3X.
WO3X, got you. Do we have one more? We'll go with these 3. Steve, K8 HMS, you're up. stopping by. Great to hear you. Chris, you're up, N8ACP.
Thank you there, Thomas. You're sounding nice, really good tonight. I just had a couple of things. I was reading the news on the CFARC website, and it looks like CFARC placed 10th in the country in the 4 Alpha entry category, and so that's not too shabby. I had or 10th in the contest, I should say. I had a lot of fun operating during that event, and I was impressed with CFARC's operations during field day. The second thing I wanted to mention is, and I think the chattering relay is great, and we certainly appreciate all the work that goes into that by Vince. And anyways, on the website, on the CFARC website, the link that goes to the November newsletter, which is actually spelled newsletter or slitter, it's hard to tell. It's kind of funny spelling. It goes to the wrong Tiny CC webpage. It should be, what is it, tinycc/chattering relay-2023, and it's actually, the link is actually -11, or, it reads -12 when you click on it, but it should be, if you change the last number in that link to -11, then the November newsletter comes up, and it's a good one. So that's all the news for me. 73 to all, and again, appreciate all the work that goes into the newsletter and running the net. 73 for November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. Back to net.
Thanks for stopping by, Chris. I'll pass that mention along to Anthony that the link on the website may need change there. All right, K8PU, Larry, you're up.
Good evening, Thomas. Everybody on the net. Not too busy tonight, looks like. Down quiet. Anyway, the same as 2 meters. Wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. One of the few holidays where families get together, and on Christmas and maybe something in Easter or something. And so it's one of the real good ones. It's not just give a gift and go on your merry way. This is a very good one. So hope everybody can get together with their families and be well. And for the folks who will be at the meeting Wednesday, I'll see you all there. And once again, Thomas, thanks much for doing the net. And we'll see you Wednesday evening, I imagine. So back to you, W8VPV, K8PU.
Thanks for stopping by, Larry. WO3X, you're up.
Good evening, Thomas, and all on the net. This is WO3X. As I mentioned on the 2-meter net, the VHF-UHF net, I participated in the ARRL sweepstakes phone version contest over the weekend, and then after the net, and I had mentioned a problem that occurred during that, and so after the net, Chris N8ACP mentioned about the band map, and so after that net, I went and turned that on and turned that laptop on and N1MM and looked at the band map there, so I'll be able to run that all the time when I'm running N1MM, and it'll show me that the radio got temporarily disconnected from the laptop. So nothing else to report here. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Thomas. W8VPV. This is WO3X.
Thanks for stopping by. Glad Chris was able to get you pointed in a direction, get some more helpers there for your contest. All right, this is Whiskey 8, Victor Papa Victor. We're looking for any more check-ins. Please call now.
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
All right, got you, Vince, AC8XO. Go ahead.
Just trying out the antennas. I put them up a while ago, and looks like everybody's happy. So this is AC8XO, back to net. Nothing else to say.
Thanks for jumping in, Vince. Sounds good. Glad to have you in here. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for additional check-ins. Please call now.
Kilo Golf 4, Golf Tango Radio.
Kilo Golf 4, Golf Tango Radio. Got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just heard you calling, taking check-ins there. I thought I'd go ahead and check in and say good evening to you there. This is Kilo Germany 4, Germany Tango Radio here in Central Florida. I'm in Beverly Hills, Florida, about 20 miles south of Ocala. The name here is Van, Victor Alpha November. How copy so far?
Well, I got you in here. We're going to say that's a 5-9 into Akron, Ohio. Name here is Thomas, running the net for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club. And on the third Monday, we were on 40 meters, so we're glad to have you in here.
Yeah, okay, very good. That's great. What was the QTH again? I didn't get that.
We are in Akron, Ohio. EN91 is our big grid square here, and the club call here that I'm operating under is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor.
Gotcha. Whiskey 8 Whiskey Papa Victor. Fine business there. Akron, Ohio. Okay, very good. You're 5 and 8 to 5-9 here, between 5 and mostly 5-8 here, with no preamp on. I certainly appreciate you letting us check in. The band is, I guess it's been pretty long. It's long tonight, so we're hearing you quite well from that distance here, from Central Florida, not too far from Disney World, over.
All right, yep, you sound pretty good here. Glad to have you check in, and we always appreciate our out-of-state check-ins. With that, we'll move on down the list and see if we can get any more here. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor looking for any additional check-ins. Please call now.
Thomas, please check in. Whiskey 8 Echo Zulu Tango.
All right, got you, Frank. Do we have any other check-ins? Please call now. Well, we'll give it back to you, Frank. Go ahead, W8EZT.
Well, very good, Thomas. Pulling a little high SWR here. I'm not sure why tonight. Normally this antenna is pretty good. That's jumping around. Yeah, I've got some issues. Anyway, good hearing everybody in there. It was good to hear Walt check into the 2-meter net. He's a club member who hasn't been checking in recently. I think he's had some medical problems. Glad to see that. With Chris living now on Cadillac Hill, he is right by the Generis at Home Run for the Homeless coming up this Wednesday or Thursday morning. So I'm sure he's still recovering from moving, but next year he can join in. He literally walks to wherever he needs to be from his location. All right, that's really all I've got. Just wanted to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Hope to see a lot of people at the club meeting Wednesday. We will have coffee, creamer, snacks, munchies, the rest of the cider, and the last part of the movie. So hope to see you there then. Anyway, have a real good one, everybody, and we'll see you then. This is W8EZT, back to net.
Well, thanks for stopping by there, Frank. Glad to hear you in there. It did seem occasionally like your rig was pulling power for microseconds there, but otherwise you came across as strong as you should have been for being a quarter mile away here. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. We're looking for any additional check-ins. Please call now. I'm not hearing any. Do we have any relays that I'm not picking up? All right, we'll dash back into the announcements real quick. First, this Wednesday is our November meeting here. Second part of Empire on the Air, the Men Who Made Radio. That's at 7:30 at our normal meeting spot, Pilgrim United Church of Christ. Please join us for that. It will be also on Zoom if you're unable to make it in person. Wednesday, December 6th is our final meeting of the year. That is going to be our Christmas party at New Era Cafe. Please RSVP. We've got to give them a number so they have enough staff and kitchen to handle our group. And there will be a presentation on the history of broadcast radio with a focus on the Akron area. And finally, Chattering Relay is our newsletter, and those that are writing articles for it, please make sure you get them in by November 30th at the latest. That is 10 days from now, so you should have some time to finish up those articles. With that, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, and we're going to go last calls for check-ins. Please call now. Not hearing any. We will prepare to close the net. I'd like to thank all that took time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, we would not have a net. This has been Kilo Echo 8, Oscar Whiskey X-Ray, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I'll close the net with 7 check-ins and return the frequency to normal customary amateur use. This has been Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net at 9:46 p.m. local time, 73.